Hi, welcome back to GRRR. I'm Ham, and today we're here with Mukul Jiwnani, a wonderful performer based here right in Melbourne. How's it going, mate?
Going good. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad. Lovely to have you along.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Yeah, well, I've heard that you've been playing for probably almost a decade now.
Almost a decade, yeah. I picked up the guitar when I was 9 years old. So I've been playing pretty much since the 5th grade. I used to go to school competitions, and then I started doing gigs in 2014, like professionally. Mm-hmm. And it's been gigs ever since.
Yeah, has there been any sort of standout experiences over the time?
Oh, they're all pretty interesting. Every place you go and play is a little different. And even if you play the same place again, it's a little different because the people are different. So you meet all kinds of people, you see all kinds of things. The most fun I've had recently is I got to do a TV program with the students at Deakin. And I did one of my originals there, and it was like a proper live thing, which was really fun, and it was pretty intense because I haven't been in a live studio before, so that was pretty fun. Yeah, It's pretty good. Yeah.
Well, what keeps you going back after 10 years? Because it's quite a long time to be playing, and some people might see the industry as like a bit of a gamble to get into.
Absolutely.
So like sticking at it for 10 years, it's like quite commendable.
It's it's interesting. It's not like I've never had second thoughts, but they never took over. It's been like I knew since school that I wanted to make a career in music, and back then I was a metalhead. Yeah, I used to listen to a lot of metal. I was in a band. I liked the rock part of it, and then I started changing my genre. You know what I mean? Like I started evolving. From there, I went straight to the blues, and then there was Eric Clapton, John Mayer, and all these people that came along. And then I was like, oh, this is something I'd like to do. And further down, recently I got into a little R&B. So it's not the same thing all over for the last 10 years. It's been different kinds of music, and the excitement to learn the different kind of music and then maybe try to make it, because I've been experimenting with electronic stuff and a bit of rock stuff and then R&B stuff, and I try to mix it all together as well. So just kind of a mix of all the influences I've had over the time. So it keeps things interesting for me.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think, yeah.
Like always developing, I guess.
Yeah, so it's one of those things that I can never get bored of it. Even if I play the same song 10 times, 10 different places, it's going to be a little different.
Of course. Depending on whatever
it is, but it's always exciting to see how people react to it, the same thing.
Do you find, like, have you managed to find that elusive sound that every musician is kind of after?
I don't know. I keep changing pretty often. So I don't know if I stick to one kind of sound. I keep trying to do something new. I keep trying to do something different. I feel like I have a certain tone, or at least people hear a certain kind of vibe they get from me, but I certainly haven't been able to get a hang of it.
Right. Yeah.
I basically just do what feels right to me.
I feel that's the best way to go about it, really. Like if it feels right, you're doing the right thing.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I guess somewhat related, if there was a young creative, a fledgling creative, like what advice would you give them to sort of break into making something tangible out of their creativity?
Well, it really depends on what someone wants to do with their music, because for some people it's just about the fun. They just want to play some music, record some music for themselves, for their family, not release it, maybe do some gigs. Some people want to do a lot of gigs, and some people just like to do covers. Some people just like to do their own music and maybe release it to the world. So it depends on what their outlook is on having a music career. Because some things pay more, some things pay less, some things need a lot of patience. And sometimes you get a shortcut and you just want to make money off of it. You do something else, you go all the way. It's really subjective to every different person how they want to pursue a career in music.
Well, what was it that kicked off the love for music for you? Is there any sort of standout points? And has that reasoning sort of changed for you, like down the track?
I don't know. I've never thought about it. So I got a keyboard when I was 6 years old or 5 years old, and I loved to figure out tunes that I could hear by myself.
Oh, by ear?
By ear. I never actually got any tutoring. I had a teacher for a few months there who told me how to play the C scale, and that was it for me. That was before the guitar. And I never actually learned how to play the keys. Then after my move, I started to learn the guitar when I was 9, and there was weekly classes, like an hour a week. And they told me most of the basics, but I never actually learned guitar from someone else.
Right.
And it's all been something I've been developing myself. So music theory is like Arabic to me.
Right. Okay.
I don't know how, at least the most part of it. I know what I'm doing, but there's a lot of stuff I don't know, but I know how to play.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that I just learned by ear, and that's been most of it.
Well, it's an amazing skill to have. Like, probably, like, I'm finding that the more and more I study music, that learning theory and knowing theory is probably not as important as being able to
It's useful.
just have the feel for it.
It's useful.
Oh, definitely. But
Having the oral skills is definitely something a musician should have, because if you don't know what you're listening to, and you don't know if something you're playing matches up to something that's someone else is playing, like it's just something I feel like all musicians should have a sense of.
yeah, and an innate sense of, to some degree. Yeah.
I suppose so, yeah.
So you're quite well established back in India, with performances through Delhi, Mumbai, Varanasi as well, and even over in Russia.
Yeah, so I started doing gigs in 2014, in Delhi. And then I was playing with a duo, I was playing with different people, I was doing my solo sets, I was doing all of it. So I ended up playing somewhere around, I'd say, 500 to 600 shows from 2014 to 19.
Wow.
And it's a lot of shows. Most of them were towards the end there, because I was also doing an undergraduation before that. But it's, I was doing a lot of shows is what it was. I just wanted to do something with my life. And at that point in time, like, I was younger than now, I suppose. But, and then I didn't know what to do with my time.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I graduated from college, I was like, okay, what do I do now?
Well, may as well play shows.
Yeah, let's do a lot of shows. What could go wrong? And it was great because, well, I got to do what I love. I had a reason to do it, and it paid too. So there's no cons there. It's just that I overexerted myself a lot.
Yeah, a bit of burnout.
I burnt out hard in 2019, and I got sick. And that's when I decided I need to pursue a degree in music, maybe change my lifestyle a little bit, because it was an endless series of gigs, practice on the week, gigs on the weekend.
Yeah.
It's just became too comfortable, and it wasn't that comfortable because I was tired all the time, but it became a cycle that it looked like it was never ending. So I needed to change.
Right. And that's what brought you over to the Southern Hemisphere?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And has it been treating you well?
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you feel about the sort of musical climate or culture around Australia, or I guess more specifically here in Melbourne?
It's amazing. It's something I never thought about, because when I used to Google music culture in Melbourne, or how the gigs are there and stuff, because I only know gigs, which is the same thing I'm doing here. But when I saw that Melbourne is the live music capital of the world, and it's got about 1,500 venues to perform at, I was like, yeah, this sounds like a place for me, for someone who's obsessed with doing shows. Sure. So I came here, and 2 months later, lockdown.
Yeah.
Which is great. So that first entire year just went by, and I didn't accomplish anything. So obviously the sense of, the earlier sense that I need to change my life and do something, it was like, oh no, I need to do gigs again.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's get myself into doing some shows. I started busking in the city, and that's how I made a few friends. And then through that, I got a few shows here and there. Through those few shows, a lot of other people saw me, started calling me to their shows, and now I've done over, I'd say, 180 shows in Melbourne in the last 2 years.
So you're back on the grind.
I'm back on the grind.
Can't help yourself.
And it's better.
Yeah, a previous performer for the last GRRR was also a busker.
Yeah, right.
What has your experience been like busking? Because I also know personally that it can be pretty great, but it can be a little bit trying at times.
It's pretty awesome, to be honest, because busking is something, coming from India, busking didn't exist there.
Right.
So there was no busking in India, but it was really new to me when I came here. I'd only seen it in videos online, and I was like, okay, this is something I'd like to give a shot to. And I started busking in last November, that's 2020 November, and there was a busking program going on there where the city was paying buskers to busk, and they were giving you slots. So it was pretty cool that it controlled everything and they paid you to do it. I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds great. So I got my license. I started playing in different places on the streets, and I was fairly new to it. So I was trying to figure out what I can and what I cannot do. But anything goes. You can do whatever music you want, whatever you like. It doesn't matter if the venue likes it or not. It gives you some kind of freedom. You can practice your music and you can get paid at the same time for doing it. And people genuinely do like to drop tips if they like your music. They sit down, they'll stay for an hour or two, and they'll make videos of you and they'll stay there. They'll express their support, which is extremely friendly and nothing I'm used to. So it's really welcome.
Yeah, it is definitely quite rewarding.
Yeah.
Where can our viewers find you then if they're out on the streets in Melbourne?
Anywhere, everywhere. So busking is you can get up anytime you want, just go on the streets and just do it. So me, if I have some free time, I just rock up to the CBD and start busking somewhere where I can find a spot. And now I recently got my premium busking license, which means I can busk on Bourke Street Mall.
Oh, right.
So that's pretty cool. It's
a
very cool spot to busk at. So yeah. It's going well, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely suggest for people to go down and check it out on Bourke Street.
Absolutely, yeah.
What does the future look like for you and your music? Do you have any projects in the works or any ideas that you're mulling over?
I have a few songs which I've been writing for years and thinking about them for ages. I just need to gather myself and up and record them and release them. I'm hopefully trying to do an EP this year. If all works out as planned. I have nothing planned, but if all works out as planned, hopefully you'll have some new music from me.
Oh, sweet.
Soon enough, yeah.
Well, I can't wait to hear it.
Absolutely, thank you.
And I guess on that note as well, I can't wait to hear some music now. What have you got lined up for us today?
Well, I'm going to play you two of my own songs and maybe a cover in the end just to keep things light.
Yeah, all right with that.
Yeah, so the first song is called System Reboot, which is probably the first song I ever wrote and thought I want to keep the song to myself. And I worked on it for a while. I was really sick when I wrote it. It was years ago. And it's about a guy who looks for a solution to his problems, and he imagines a person in his head, which is technically his alter ego, who is the solution to all of his problems, and he self-actualizes that alter ego and becomes that person. But in that process, he realizes he doesn't really remember who he really is in the first place.
Yeah, wow.
So now he's looking for himself, which is basically System Reboot.
Yeah.
To the last stable version.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, once again, we're really happy to have you here.
Thank you.
And can't wait to hear you perform.
Absolutely.
And without any further ado, Mukul Jiwnani.
I found my system reboot. I'll tell you a story of what happened soon. I found my sunlight and moon. Reflect on the light I will shine on you. I found all mysteries assumed, answered by nightmares in dark black rooms. I met a child once in school, told me I can't have a life like you. So he took the high road to be what's enough. He took the blame when the times got tough. But he was a sailor of a sea of dreams, and he couldn't find his way back to me. Yeah. Soon met a man who had hope. I told him I'm looking for cope with the things that I had in my mind. Things I don't find, the things of his kind. The stranger I met, he wants me to see the things he could do. He wants me to be. He'll set I'll forget myself in the past. Teach me to be you, teach me to be me. He said if we look deeper inside, this void that you feel, emptiness and pride, you want to reveal. Pull me out of you, you know it be true. You'll find me believe. I found my system reboot. You know what happened when I met you. I found my sunlight and moon. You were the light I will for you. I remember when I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions had an echo in so much space. When you're out there without a care, yeah, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. Possibly. And I hope that you are having the time of your lives. But think twice. That's my only advice. Come on now, who do you think you are? Oh, bless your soul. You really think you're in control? I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. Cruise on me. Our heroes at the heart to live a life I don't live. It's all I remember. I wanna be just like them. Ever since I was little, online fun. But it wasn't a coincidence I've gone broken down when I'm done. I think you're crazy. Baby, I'm crazy. Baby, you're crazy. Probably. Baby, I'm crazy. Baby, you're crazy. Baby, we're crazy. Probably. Falling to pieces, she lets me speak. Don't turn the wheel, just let me be. Chain me up and put me to the ground. Shining necklace, wooden ground. I remember the first time I breathed. One December, her eyes on me. She took my hand and said, "Are you true?" I took her back and let me through. I say these words and the truth and lies, and 1,000 men can take 1,000 lies. She took my hand and I heard her cry eyes. They buried me inside 1,000 lies. The grass and I miss the sand. I miss the waters where I once stand. There's not much left for me to say. My final breath takes me away. Is it my color or is it mine? I got the power to run all night. I cannot stop it to catch my breath, 'cause they won't stop even after death. And that one night I look beside these people hiding in darkness side. I knew right there my time had come, my destiny, my way of sound. your name to me, made me sing, made me shout. I saw myself running to see a lifeless body, leafless tree.